Welcome to the Sollies. Sorry guys, we are leaving Australia. It has nothing to do with the beautiful country or you, the fantastic people of Australia. We can only blame our own budget. In this video, we will tell you what it is all about, what the problem is, and we will tell you about our plans the next many months. And at the end, we will show you a little bit from our trip we had for a couple of days ago in Tallebudgera. So, why are we leaving? We need to tell you a little bit of the reason why we went down to Australia, what the plan was, and then we will tell you where the problem lies. Our plan or our dream was to come to Australia, or actually just my spontaneous idea was the first thing. Yeah. I said, let's move to Australia. And in my mind, and then she got convinced, was to try and live in Australia at the same place and get to know the Australians, live the Australian way for 6 months. And I thought about start to play soccer in a soccer team for very old men. And I thought about my daughter finding many friends and we would just live the life. Then we started to look for a place to live, and Magda is a data analyst and she really got to work there to find a place to live. And we thought for a wrong way for many months, so we ended up a little bit late finding Airbnb.
Very expensive Airbnbs, both in Brisbane and Gold Coast, expensive from our perspective. Of course, when we started to think about moving to Australia, we looked at the prices in real estate. I think we described it in our previous videos. And it was, wow, it will be so cheap and so cool to live here. But then real estate is not the place to find a short-term rent. Even half a year is considered as a short-term. Everything is about to be for 1 year bonding at least. So yeah, as Tommy mentioned, we've been waiting because it was too early to find something in August to move in January, and at the end in December we were really like, what, where we live? And the last chance was only Airbnb, and there were not a lot of places left and only the most expensive one. I suppose, maybe I'm wrong, but I think if we found something in August to start in January, it should be cheaper than we have.
Yeah, and a lot of you have commented on it, and yes, we know we have chosen a very expensive area. And we have chosen a very big apartment with 2 bedrooms because we have a child and we want to have her sleeping in one room and us in the other room. And yes, we wanted to have a pool. Of course, that's expensive. We wanted to be close to the city and close to the beach. And yes, it's expensive. But we have then tried to find other solutions afterwards. And it's not really very easy to find anything, even out of the city or other places in Australia. So, yeah, so we are really in a big of trouble with the money because it's very expensive with the rent. But it's not the only reason. We came here and found out that the visa we had was working, that we had to get out of the country after 3 months and then we could come back. And then we came up with a brilliant idea of going to New Zealand. I've been there before. Yeah, Tommy has been there and there and there. Yeah, old story. And we looked at that, and then that was a bit expensive. And we thought, do we really want to be in a place that looks like Norway? Maybe we should go to Asia and then come back to Australia. And since we're not staying at the same place for 6 months, then we could go to another place in Australia. Brilliant idea. Where can we go in Asia? And then, of course, we had a revelation. Well, it was not, it's old news. It's cheap in Asia. And we could get fantastic apartments and live in paradise wherever in Asia also. So then our mind started to think, if we can only find the same kind of apartment in another city in Australia
and live at the same level that we do today.
Yeah. Then we start to think, what about just leaving Australia and then have 3 months in Asia in different places? So that's what we have now turned out to decide to do, is that we will leave in end of March. We'll talk a little bit more about the financial part of this trip. And in our mind, we wanted to go to cafes and restaurants a lot more than we do in Norway, because we never do it in Norway. And we thought, now we will live the life. And I said to Magda before we left that we must be good at and we must practice using more money. Yeah. And then I remembered when I lived here last time, the currency in Norway was 4 kroners for a dollar, or 4.5. Now it's 75% around that. Much like more. So it is 75% more expensive from that time because of the currency. You Australians have also said that it's more expensive now, the cost of living for you guys living here. So maybe it's at least twice as expensive, or I think more, than when I lived here. So we also have an apartment in Norway that we didn't rent out. So we have also a house loan and rent on that apartment in Norway, plus the rent in Australia. A few examples of what we are not buying because we are not good at using money and we think it's the same price as in Norway, so then we're not buying it. So for example...
Yeah, we don't go to cafes, we don't buy iced coffee when we are somewhere on the trip. We really don't often buy ice cream out, only in the markets. And it's not very often that we go and eat lunch in the restaurant. We are taking our own food on the trips and eating out maybe one time a week, sometimes
maximum once a week, I think.
Once is Domino's Pizza on Saturdays, which is cheap.
Yeah. Then our new friend Bill that drove us around to Springbrook, he said, let's take a lunch here. And then we took a lunch, but then we feel it's too much money eating lunch when we're on a trip. Plus, we are here for many months. So that's not part of our plan to ruin us completely when we get home, you know. So that's why we're bringing food from home and we eat dinner at home. And so we live the same way as in Norway, and that was not the plan. Yeah.
That's true.
So that is also a good reason of now taking 3 months in Asia, or almost 3 months, and then try to eat lunch and dinner more often. So again, sorry guys, it's not that we don't want to see more of Australia, and it's not because we don't like Australia. That has nothing to do with it. So just
we love being here.
Yeah, we love being here. And some people say, Tommy, you're a bit too negative. I'm pretty sure almost all videos except one about what we miss and then the last one about supermarkets, I'm pretty sure it's 99% at least just bragging about you guys and your country. So
we have a video about comparing Australia to Norway, when we just brag about Australia, how great it is here.
Yeah, Norway got 0 points there. So yeah. And we are living here for 4 more weeks, and we will put out videos of all the amazing stuff we are going to experience here. The next one is Byron Bay. I'm sure it will be a beautiful video because it's a beautiful place, and we will brag a lot about that also.
Maybe a few words about our next adventures, our plans after March. So the first place we decided, I've been researching a lot and discussing with Tommy, where should we go, what should we do? We had many ideas.
We chat a lot with ChatGPT, so it has a lot of good solutions there.
Yes. We have some expectations. We need to have a good internet connection in this country because I'm working remotely. So we decided to start with Thailand. I'm very happy about it. I was in Thailand before. You've been a little bit as well. So we will try that one. We will fly to Bangkok, spend some days there. And after that, we plan to go to Krabi and spend a few weeks there and explore, relax.
And then our plan is to go to Malaysia. Same reason, child-friendly and kind of a cheap living there also. And internet connection. And then the most exotic is then, I think, to go to Sri Lanka. It's also on the way home,
on the way
kind
home.
of. Yeah. It's
small steps.
Yeah, small steps, yeah. And then live there for a few weeks and then go home to Norway. So we really hope that you will follow our trip to those countries, and I'm very sure that we will complain more in those countries and say that we miss Australia and why didn't we just stay there. That's for sure in my mind.
It will happen, I'm sure also.
Yeah. Now we will show you a little clip from our trip to Tallebudgera. It was maybe now our favorite beach, and we fell in love with it straight away. Have you guys been there? It's not that well known, I'm sure, but it's just on the other side of the famous Gold Coast area.
Yeah.
And this looked like the Norwegian beach. Maybe that's why we liked it. There's no waves and
No
it's very
waves,
calm. Yeah.
Nice sand, beautiful views. You can see there's Surfers Paradise Beach. You can see Burley Heads National Park. On the other side, we have regular beach with big waves. So this is great. Very nice place.
A very easy bus ride from Pacific Fair. Where we just went to, we walked 3 minutes on the bus stop to this place.
Child friendly.
Yeah,
definitely.
Child friendly. Yeah, so we'll go back there also many times, I'm sure.
Yes.
We want to know if there's sharks and crocs in that little place. It could be. And we will also listen to you if you say that it's a very polluted water, or don't go there because
that's why there is
the worst
no people.
place you found. You should go just 1 kilometer to the cleanest beach. We haven't been there, Coolangatta, I think. We'll try that also. Again, there's more waves there, I'm sure. But please comment on that one, and also please subscribe still, and we want some likes. And then we hope you enjoy this video and the next from Byron Bay.